Greetings. Peace and love to my people. What's up, y'all? Y'all alright? I wanna just get ready to be before y'all. I'm here to be before y'all at this time with a meaningful communication. You know what I'm saying? Just wanna express myself, you know what I'm saying, regarding a few things, that's on my mind, you know, to where this positive communication have a positive impact, you know what I'm saying, on the viewer, the listener, you know what I'm saying, the observer, you know what I'm saying, of these words of logical perspectives, you know what I'm saying. It's just thought provoking with this communication and transmission reflect this being a meeting of the minds. You know what I'm saying? In light of you know, where say for instance, right, you have like a person, you know what I'm saying, who is a writer of information, right? To be perceived by a reader of the information. Where you have the writer and you have the reader, to where the reader connects to the writings of the writer. What takes place there, whether we recognize it or not, is a meeting of the minds. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like me giving this speech or lecturing about something, or me talking or communicating to you about something, right? To where, what is the good of me talking in this kind of light without me having a listener? I ain't talking about like being in a situation where you might be thinking out loud to yourself about something in your own quiet space, you know what I'm saying, where you just in a zone like that maybe. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, say for instance, like me as a speaker, you know what I'm saying, and you and you as a listener to what I'm saying, right? That is a meeting of the minds where a communication is taking place, right? So, in light of the language of communication, you know what I'm saying? This is a meeting of our minds to be on a mental plane of thought right now and listening and learning, right? So with that said, based on me representing knowledge itself in terms of identifying and being in tune with a certain thought orientation that's in tune with my true education of our real history, right? That predate teachings and histories by other peoples and races other than our own, to where my prehistory allows me to get an understanding of reality from that perspective, in terms of like understanding things from our side of the story of the educational information on the planet when it comes to facts and findings and things of this particular nature, that's designed to keep my mind and my people's minds in tune with reality, right? Now, let's examine reality, because when it comes to reality, you know what I'm saying, depending on certain narratives that we have been influenced by, you know what I'm saying, that cause us to actually end up being out of our minds. And yo, this is a dirty game. Certain psychologists, you know what I'm saying, is playing, you know what I'm saying, to make themselves look like they not the culprit behind the trick knowledge. To where, you know, they can sleep good at night and feel like they ain't did nothing sinister, you know what I'm saying, regarding the mind manipulation games that they play, you know what I'm saying, to make them feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, in they folk ways and dealings of they cultural norms that perpetuate a certain secure position of business as usual, to where they feel like they don't have to worry about no kind of repercussions or karmic karmic some kind of karmic uh return from what they have perpetrated, you know what I'm saying, upon a particular people for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's this term, right, that individuals seem to not talk about regarding the falsification of African people's consciousness, in terms of like, what is it about, like, a lot of our people, to where they don't like pay attention, you know what I'm saying, to certain information that's designed to elevate their mind out of a negative slave mentality, that has been designed in them by I would say certain certain enforcers of a certain thought ideology, right, to help incubate a certain philosophy and outlook about life, where this particular ideology and philosophy work in service of their position of authority to maintain a certain domination over your mind, to where you is a product of a social construct, right, that prides itself on producing a certain society of servile people. Now, mind you, here it is, right? We are grown adults, right? Grown adults who, have a mind of our own, to where we live how we want to live, and we think we, are free according to the social realities of living according to our lifestyles, of how we free to be who we are. You know what I'm saying? But are you free mentally? Are you free physically? Are you free economically? Are you free socially? You know what I'm saying? Are you free in all areas of people activity, to the point where you was free from certain struggles, to where by you being free from certain struggles, you can justify and say, I am truly free. Because the illusions that a lot of people live, including like for a lot of us who constantly fighting against certain illusions that certain forces may relentlessly try to keep um keep in place for our minds to perceive and take into consideration. You know what I'm saying? That it's just best for us to just go along with the programming of this certain cultural norm to where um, anything else outside of that would be uncivilized, because they know what's best for us in the arenas of politics and economics and social values, and when it comes to more in-depth studies about land politics and things of this particular nature, dealing with real estate, um, areas of certain business psychology and what have you, right? When it seems like anytime you have an organic idea of your own, where you pull back, you know what I'm saying, from certain programming that get you caught up in certain groups or certain herds of people, you know what I'm saying, that is like robotic in mind, to where they not utilizing their own individual free will, they free will individual individual impulse or instinct to challenge what is being put in their mind, you know what I'm saying, by certain forces that seem to always try to influence people's minds to be under them. Instead of you being free, you know what I'm saying, to be over what they talking about and go your own way with a plan for liberation, you know what I'm saying, structured around real revolutionary principles and ideas that's in sync with the real history of a certain qualification that frees you from a negatively influenced environment that don't tend for you to be progressive in your gifted plans, you know what I'm saying, to have a positive impact through your how should I put this, through your organic ideology that can really bring about a healing and uh a realistic healing reality and social change that can help them out, you know what I'm saying, in ways of conforming into a better idea regarding the betterment of our humanity in general. You know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, let's do an analyzation of reality. Who reality is you living by? What is reality to you? The reality that you living, you know what I'm saying? Is it a product from your own choices based on You benefiting from certain resources that enable you to manifest your heaven on this earth while you live? Or is it that you are living a life that was already pre-thought for you to live? You know what I'm saying? To where you are living that way. You know what I'm saying? Which is a product of minds that have designed that particular matrix for you to live in, to the point where you don't even care what you thinking. Like, we in the United States of America, right? And the rules and regulations that's in place of how we live in the jurisdiction of the United States, it is what it is. This is how we live. Yet we know the history of America has certain historical hypocrisies, you know, that show all kind of competitive psychologies to see who is going to be, you know what I'm saying, in the winning position regarding economic well-being in this opportunistic society that's full of people that's in competition with one another regarding the people who have and the have-nots. You know, you know what I'm saying? So with all that going on, what about the bigger picture of the prophecies that is actually a part, the prophecies that's in place, right? The prophecies that's in existence that we are living in, to where people have lost sight of certain of the God consciousness regarding the bigger picture beyond our capitalistic ways, right? To where, for instance, we see, you know what I'm saying, the behavior patterns of a lot of people out here is like a reflection of the signs of the times. You know what I'm saying? Say, for instance, like in this era of time, we have a plurality of watchers who watch what's going on for real, in the world that's not lining up with the divine mind of the Most High's original, superior plan regarding humanity in existence, right? Now, like I was saying, I had simply did something where I was like, okay, I had got on my phone. Just a simple task. I was like, okay, let me see what today's weather is going to be like. So, I clicked on that regarding to see what the weather forecast was. And I'm like, what is this? What is this talking about? Smoke. Because, like, the forecast is really like sunny day or cloudy day or something to that degree, right? But this said, on the display, it said smoke. I'm like, now what in the hell is that? Smoke. Today's weather. So they substituted, if it was cloudy, you know what I'm saying? So I look outside and I'm like, okay, clouds here and there, you know what I'm saying? What they talking about? Smoke. You know what I'm saying? What kind of message is that sending about the climate control? You know what I'm saying? Or the quality of the climate, dealing with air pollution? Is that an indication like certain forces playing games with our mind regarding, how they got power of the creation of certain artificial weather? You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen no weather forecast say smoke. SMOKE. The word they use, smoke. Now, what does that have to do with the weather? That don't make no sense. So I'm like, wow, we really living in some strange times where, like the master teacher had mentioned to us, he was like, we're living in a certain era of time where you can't doubt nothing. All kind of things are possible. You know what I'm saying? In this age of Aquarius that we living in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, hey, to each his own. Because the reality is I found out I gotta work my own salvation out. Just like the next man or woman. You know what I'm saying? We have to work our own salvation out. And we gotta teach these babies, you know what I'm saying, the real reality of themselves, starting with internal proper cleansing through a clean spirit with intentions to be pure in this world. But even though us as adults, right, you have certain people, you know what I'm saying, who teach knowledge, you know what I'm saying, for meaningful conversation purposes and things of that nature, right? They talk in ways where, you know what I'm saying, they like, man, forget the adults, forget the grown-ups. They too far gone. I ain't talking about them. They set in their ways, they fixing their ways to the point where, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? Now, in light of that being said, right, you know what I'm saying, it's true in certain perspectives. I think it's too generalized because a lot of people still have the opportunity to wake up when they hear certain teachings that's designed for them to wake up. But yet, you have the children, you know what I'm saying, who really do need to be taught a certain eye-opening knowledge or wake-up knowledge, you know what I'm saying, to where they don't go through what we went through as far as them waking up, you know what I'm saying, later on in life when they could be taught right, you know what I'm saying, by those who are conscious to teach them right, where they won't depart from the information that they being taught. But it is a true fact that a lot of these adults is too far gone. But a lot of us who not, that's adults. Still, the knowledge is for us too. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody pretty much do wake up at certain times, points and degrees in life. So for the sake of this real conversation, right, regarding how we living, you know what I'm saying, in a certain time of certain prophecies, for us to do our own due diligence to be in tune with eye-opening knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that is wake up knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that keep us on the right track in terms of these times of awakening, you know what I'm saying, and get back into the prehistory terms and nomenclatures of our ancestors who are supreme beings that we connected with as supreme beings beyond the small-minded mortals who pride themselves regarding these certain small-minded mortals of a certain bloodline who masquerade themselves as scientists of thought, right? Scientists of great thinking. But in all actuality, their consciousness level is to a certain degree to where it shows that there is a more superior intellect amongst us that is beyond that particular line of thought, logic, and reasoning that tie back to us, the ancient ones and our ancestors that predate the modern history of the people that's in power or who was in power or the people that's going out of power to where a new power is manifesting in the earth, which is a inevitable power that is surfacing to where we in a certain alignment time where we all are to grow into these new changes that's manifesting. Now, for instance, the term when I was like, okay, let us analyze reality, right? To where we working in service of ourselves in a therapeutic way without being a psychological misfit to our own selves, which is detrimental to our own psychology. You know what I'm saying? That cause us to end up being self-destructive instead of being self-constructive, because we have the power of thought which enable us to change our reality. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty, of being a thinker that have an understanding of the power of thoughts. As a man or woman thinketh, so is he, or so is she. But yet, like say for instance, you have certain men and women, right? They think what they think to the point where they have a mentality to where you can't tell me what to do. A man, you know what I'm saying, had that mentality, or a woman had that mentality. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me nothing. I do what I want to do. Are you doing what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Under whose influence? Don't you realize that a lot of these rebellious attitudes come from the mind manipulation of a satanic origin that, you know what I'm saying, y'all seem to not get, to where y'all are tools of Satan, to the point where y'all gonna end up crashing out before it's too late because y'all don't take heed to certain warnings. Like the term, warning come before destruction. It's real. I'm trying to be, you know what, I am interested in being a wise man. You know what I'm saying? A wise man is one who know how to utilize knowledge that enables me and equips me to first save myself. Because what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, is for me too. You know what I'm saying? As far as being analytical in mind, to nullify the works of some kind of impure thoughts trying to manifest in my head for me to give birth to a certain reality that'll be counterproductive to me. Nah. Come what may, for the contentment of my mind not gonna be disturbed. You know what I'm saying? Because certain negative spirit forces work through people to try to transfer a certain negative spirit onto you, chosen ones. You know what I'm saying? To be negatively affected and become imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? And your inner spirit to leave you disgruntled or to serve as an irritant to you to where it affect your peace of mind. No. So, in light of people out here who posing to be a friend of yours, you gotta beware people out here because all the time people be jealous of you. You know what I'm saying? So by you being the good quality individual that you is, right? You know what I'm saying? You got people secretly envy and jealous of you. You know what I'm saying? Because of you representing the light. You representing what's right, right? Which exposes they crooked characteristics. It exposes they crooked characteristics where it really does irritate certain demons in them, where they haven't reached a certain level of internal exorcisms and cleansings, whichever way you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you have, okay, now we, right, regarding our Kemetic ancestors, one of the great deities or supreme beings of our Kemetic ancestors, named Khonsu, right, who is the master of performing exorcisms and getting rid of evil in all its forms. I sung all its forms. So, for instance, I got a cipher that consists of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, understanding, overstanding, and outerstanding, right? To where I don't let no one be a nuisance on my post, so to speak, right? Which is a good climate of my internal space where the Most High, you know what I'm saying, dwells. So as far as being a watcher, you know what I'm saying, seeing all the crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying, that's going on regarding the games that people is playing as a product of the devil civilization, right? They are products of that environment that we all, you know what I'm saying, have been affected by, to the point where some of us is going to wake up and be like, you know what? No more, nah. I separate myself from the unclean. I separate myself from the unclean things of this world. You know what I'm saying? So I can have clear communication with the Most High in a language I can understand. Because regarding God or the Most High, whatever name we identify God to be, you know what I'm saying? Depending on who our God is, you know what I'm saying? Because think about it. Let me see. So it's a lot of God conflicts going on out here where the battle in the sky, you know what I'm saying, it's at a fever pitch, you know what I'm saying, to where it's so continuous regarding this war, good and evil. You know what I'm saying? People gotta, for the say for instance, right? Say for instance, right? The constant lies that's being told and also lived by people. So by you being an individual, right, who have been free from the spells, and you have clear vision when you see through people, right, you can still see how you are not to endanger yourself being around fools and foolishness, you know what I'm saying, based on people's thoughts and behavior. To where they psychology, you know what I'm saying, and social conditioning got them acting out certain thought processes and behavior patterns that give reality to certain questionable behavior. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one moment. All right, I'm back. Yeah, here when it got a particular book that I was looking for, and I had located it. So this right here, in addition, this go hand in hand with what I was speaking on regarding. I wanted to go here about us, how we living in terms of like being authentic. You know what I'm saying? And as opposed to you know the being authentic, as opposed to the unauthenticity, you know what I'm saying, dealing with this arena of affairs, you know what I'm saying, um, socially, when paying attention to the bigger picture regarding these prophecies of life. Because once again, like, what is we doing? You know what I'm saying? Is we, you know, prideful to the point where we glorify, you know, characteristics where we in our right minds? Do we communicate knowledge that reflect we in our right minds? Are we attracted to information that appear to speak about things that's logical and useful, to where it elevates our minds? You know what I'm saying? In ways where we in alignment to sanity. You know what I'm saying? And not be ashamed of being a person, you know what I'm saying, who may always appear right. Or he always think he right. Or she always thinks she right. Yeah, we supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, on the right side of doing things. You know what I'm saying? In terms of wanting to have that kind of reputation, you know what I'm saying, of doing things correctly, of doing things right, and being mindful, you know what I'm saying, of what's moral to do. You know what I'm saying? But don't get it twisted, because certain other forces in people's morality may not be your morality because of our different natures. Y'all know what I'm talking about. For instance, right? For instance, let's go here, dealing with the Constitution of the United States of America and the personality traits of people, you know what I'm saying, who is considered to be um, models of society, or people who's supposed to be responsible members of the society in seats of authority. You know what I'm saying? That's aligned with organizations, you know what I'm saying, and groups in certain circles, to where it appears, you know, they not really living up to the ideas of really having the best interest of us, the American people. as if they are the treasonous ones, but yet never seems to um, suffer the consequences of their treason. Or maybe it may appear that they may suffer the consequences of their treason only to be a psyop, you know what I'm saying, to make it look that way, but in reality, you know what I'm saying, they still go unpunished. You know what I'm saying? In a way to where, you know, they end up just being out of sight, out of mind. You know what I'm saying? But somewhere else, enjoying their life. You know what I'm saying? Because we living in a certain societal structure to where the filth and indecency that seem to be glorified amongst certain cultural sectors of the American societies, you know what I'm saying, is infused with certain carnal desires to where they blinded from the higher ruling information of society to where they distracted from the real, how should I put it, the real status quo that's maintained by certain people who is in a position of influence, right? Now, for instance, dealing with the Constitution, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty